Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
Mueller just dropped a bombshell to Trump's lawyers that completely vindicates him. Robert Mueller just dropped a bombshell on Trump's lawyers, and it totally vindicates our America First president. Mueller reportedly told Trump's lawyers that the president is not a criminal target. Well, we already knew that. But imagine how many liberal heads will explode over this news. From Breitbart. Special Counsel Robert Mueller personally told President Donald Trump's legal team that the president is not a criminal target of his investigation at a White House meeting early last month, according to a Tuesday report in the Washington Post. Mueller, according to the Post's three anonymous sources, also emphasized that Trump is a subject of the investigation, meaning his conduct falls under the scope of his investigation, and that he still believes his team needs to interview the president. Trump has publicly expressed willingness to be interviewed, but reports indicate elements of his legal team have advised strongly against him doing so. There was broad speculation that the resignation of John Dowd, Trump's former lead attorney, was driven at least in part by disagreements over whether to submit to an interview. Mueller also told the legal team his special counsel's office is preparing a report on the president's actions in relation to obstruction of justice. If I were the president, I would be very reluctant to think I'm off the hook, the Post quotes Princeton professor Keith Whittington. My sense of it is the president, given that information, ought to have pretty fair warning. Anything he's saying in the deposition would be legally consequential, Whittington continued. Depending on what he says, it could wind up changing how the special counsel is thinking about him. Neither the White House lawyers nor the special counsel's office gave the Washington Post a comment on the story. The report comes on the day the Mueller investigation, ostensibly focused on Russian interference in the 2016 election, delivered its first criminal sentence, 30 days in jail for London-based Dutch attorney Alex van der Zwaan for false statements to Mueller's investigators. Court documents from another criminal trial arising from Mueller's investigation, that of lobbyist and former Trump associate Paul Manafort, revealed for the first time Tuesday that a much more detailed description of the probe's scope was described in an August 2017 memo from Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. The document was heavily redacted, but specifically mentions Manafort, and his activities included some far predating the 2016 election cycle. Do you think it's time to end this Russia witch hunt? Companies boycotting Laura Ingraham get nasty wake-up call after going too far. These words are coming back to bite. As the national media's cynical infatuation with David Hogg continues into its second month, some of the largest advertisers in the country are finding out that reflexive appeasement of tyrants can have a real price. And Hogg explained why himself, even if he didn't realize it at the time. Conservative activists on social media have launched a counter-boycott against companies that pulled their advertising from Fox News channel's The Ingraham Angle because of the conservative host's mockery of Hogg via Twitter post. Ingraham's apology to the teenager apparently carried no weight for CEOs bent on signaling their own virtue, but it's a good bet a grassroots effort to support Ingraham by encouraging consumers to avoid those companies' products will mean a lot more. Because Americans know how to deal with bullies, and Hogg's own words over the weekend inadvertently summed the situation up perfectly. In a sneering weekend interview with CNN explaining how he rejected Ingraham's apology, Hogg told the absolute truth for one of the few times since his arrival on the national scene as an opportunistic survivor of the February 14 mass shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. No matter who somebody is, no matter how big or powerful they may seem, a bully is a bully, and it's important that you stand up to them, quote the boy wonder from Broward. Just so. And conservatives recognize it when one of their most articulate spokeswomen finds herself in a bully's crosshairs. And they know how to stand up for her. In Facebook videos and Twitter posts, conservatives are rallying for a counter-boycott of companies that pulled their advertising from Ingram's show. In a statement Monday to the Los Angeles Times, Fox reiterated its support for Ingram when company co-president Jack Abernethy declared, "We cannot and will not allow voices to be censored by agenda-driven intimidation efforts." Statements by consumers on social media have the same message, but even stronger, calling the companies out by name. Related, watch, Trump publicly humiliates reporters in front of visiting dignitary. This wasn't what Hogg intended, of course. He's so covered by the liberal mantle of victimhood that he thinks he's the one being bullied even while he and his liberal manipulators foster a boycott of a woman's television show just because his teenage feelings were hurt. But Americans with a little more life experience, and a well-earned distrust of liberal propaganda in the mainstream media know who's really being victimized here. And they're doing something about it. No one likes a bully, and this counter-boycott movement proves it. It's a wake-up call for every liberal in the executive suites who might finally realize that they've taken things too far. And it's Hogg's own words that are coming back to bite. What do you think? Scroll down to comment below. Whoops. Things just got a lot worse for Andrew McCabe. Things just got a lot worse for disgraced former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. On top of everything, the leaks, lying, and biased investigating, McCabe also used his FBI work email to campaign and solicit for his very liberal wife. From Town Hall. Andrew McCabe was fired hours before he would have collected a multi-million pension from FBI, where he served as deputy director. It was abundantly clear that Mr. McCabe had to go, and this wasn't from the Trump White House. Sure, President Trump made McCabe to be a boogeyman, but the smoking gun was not in the Oval Office, it was the FBI's own Office of Professional Responsibility, which recommended McCabe get the axe. The reason? Lying to investigators and an unauthorized media disclosure to the Wall Street Journal about the tension between the FBI and DOJ over the Clinton Foundation probe. Oh, and it wasn't just one time. As Guy wrote yesterday, citing the Washington Post, OPR cited McCabe with 4 times to lying to investigator, including former FBI Director James Comey. McCabe lied to his superiors and investigators 4 times, to Comey in October 2016, to FBI investigators in May 2017, and to the Office of the Inspector General twice, beginning in the summer. Oh yeah, this guy is getting railroaded, except that he's not. And it doesn't seem that stretching the truth falls far from the tree. His wife, Jill, a doctor, penned an op-ed in the Post about her failed 2015 Virginia Senate run and how there was no conflict of interest. There have been allegations that McCabe's donations from pro-Clinton Governor Terry McAuliffe's PAC during that run, which exceeded $400,000, was a sort of down payment for political protection since soon after her campaign ended, Mr. McCabe became deputy director, where one of his tasks was to oversee the investigation into Hillary Clinton's email fiasco, via Fox News. McCabe's wife, Dr. Jill McCabe, ran for Virginia's state Senate seat in 2015. The Political Action Committee for then Virginia Governor McAuliffe, a Democrat and Clinton ally, donated $467,500 to her campaign, while the Virginia Democratic Party gave $207,788, the Journal reported. Andrew McCabe was Associate Deputy Director of the FBI at the time. McCabe played no role, attended no events, and did not participate in fundraising or support of any kind, the FBI told the Journal in a statement. Months after the completion of her campaign, then Associate Deputy Director McCabe was promoted to deputy, where, in that position, he assumed for the first time, an oversight role in the investigation into Secretary Clinton's emails. Dr. McCabe said she ran because she wanted to make people's lives better, that her work in healthcare encouraged her that she could do some good in Richmond. McAuliffe was pushing Medicaid expansion, and how if this campaign made her husband's work more difficult at the FBI, even if it was allowed, she wouldn't do it. McCabe spoke with ethics lawyer to find out how to make this work, and this is where the trouble begins, via WAPO, emphasis mine. Still, in thinking about running, one of my first concerns was Andrew and his job at the FBI, where he was the assistant director in charge of the Washington field office. I said to Andrew, if you think this is going to be a problem for you professionally, even if it's allowed, I won't do it. He consulted with the ethics experts at the FBI and committed to follow their advice. We tried to go even beyond what the rules required. Andrew kept himself separate from my campaign. When the kids and I went door knocking, he did not participate. He wouldn't even drive us. He could have attended one of my fundraisers but never did. One day he put on a campaign t-shirt so we could take a family picture and share it with my proud parents. You may have seen it. It seems to have taken on a weird life of its own, but that was it, just a family picture at a swim meet. Then the president started tweeting about how the contributions to my campaign made it clear that Andrew, and all of the senior leadership at the FBI, were corrupt and that he should be removed. It went one step further in the days before Christmas, when the president made threats related to my husband's retirement. To have my personal reputation and integrity and those of my family attacked this way is beyond horrible. It feels awful every day. It keeps me up nights. I made the decision to run for office because I was trying to help people. Instead, it turned into something that was used to attack our family, my husband's career and the entire FBI. Okay, well, your husband used his FBI email to push your campaign. Senator Chuck Grassley, ARIA, chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, documented it in a December 1, 2017 letter to Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, emphasis mine. Dear Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein, email communications recently released by the FBI in response to a Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, request show that Deputy Director Andrew McCabe may have violated the Hatch Act and corresponding department regulations prohibiting political activity during his wife's 2015 campaign for the Virginia Senate. According to guidance from the DOJ's Departmental Ethics Office, under 5 CFR Section 734.101 to 702, FBI employees are forbidden from engaging in political activity while on duty, in a federal facility, wearing a uniform or official insignia, or using a federally owned or leased vehicle. The guidance also states that further restricted employees such as those at the FBI, however, the email communications released by the FBI show that Mr. McCabe did precisely that during his wife's Virginia Senate campaign. For instance, in an August 19, 2015, email from his FBI email account to an undisclosed recipient, he wrote, Jill has been busy as hell since she decided to run for VA State Senate, long story. Check her out on Facebook as Dr. Jill McCabe for Senate. 3 In a November 1, 2015, email from his same FBI email account to an FBI employee, Mr. McCabe wrote, I am so proud of her. She will do a great job for VA if she gets elected. Yeah, that doesn't sound like separation or going beyond what the rules required. I'm sure all of these questions will be asked and answered when McCabe is brought before Congress for more testimony. Mr. McCabe is also likely to file suit over his dismissal from the FBI. These things will take money, and he's been flooded with over $500,000 for his legal fund. Will Trump, Russia be included in the debate as to why McCabe was fired, and that of the overall tension the FBI has with the Trump White House? Most definitely. But the OPR report is quite clear that McCabe was fired because he leaked sensitive information, like Comey, and lied about it multiple times. The fact that both men leaked information adds to the sad state of affairs the FBI has found itself, but it seems McCabe's own actions were the reason for his rightful dismissal. Moreover, he obviously had selective hearing concerning building those walls of separation regarding his wife's campaign. He's not being scapegoated. The Obama-appointed DIG isn't singling him out either. He lied. And now he's paying the price, though many are viewing him as some political martyr. He isn't any of those things. And this glaring falsehood in his wife's op-ed, only adds that this family is taking a page out of the Clinton political playbook concerning scandal. Update, Judicial Watch has more. The documents also show repeated use of the official FBI email system in connection with Mrs. McCabe's political campaign. For example, on March 13, 2015, Mrs. McCabe emails to her husband's official FBI email account a draft press release announcing her run for state senate. In August 2015, McCabe uses his official FBI email account to advise a redacted recipient to visit his wife's campaign website. Jill has been busy as hell since she decided to run for VA state senate. Long story. Check her out on Facebook as Dr. Jill McCabe for Senate. On November 2, 2015, Mrs. McCabe forwards an email to her husband, then the assistant director in charge of the FBI's Washington office, that accuses her opponent of extorting local businessmen. The email was sent to her husband's official FBI account. The documents include an October 2016 letter from House Government Oversight Committee Chairman Jason Chaffetz to McCabe questioning a possible conflict of interest by noting that Clinton headlined a Virginia fundraiser on June 26, 2015, for Mrs. McCabe. A significant amount was donated after the FBI had initiated its investigation and begun meeting with Secretary Clinton's attorneys in August 2015. The documents also show that FBI leadership was sensitive to reports of FBI internal dissent within Director Comey's handling of the Clinton investigation. On October 24, 2016, Mrs. McCabe forwarded to Director McCabe a True Pundit article titled, FBI Director Lobbied Against Criminal Charges for Hillary After Clinton Insider Paid His Wife $700,000. The story reported that former FBI Executive Assistant Director John Giacalone resigned in the middle of the Clinton email investigation because he saw it going sideways and that Jill McCabe received money from a PAC headed by McAuliffe, who is under investigation by the FBI for campaign finance law violations. McCabe forwarded the article to Comey, noting FYI. Heavyweight source. Comey replied to McCabe, copying Chief of Staff James Rubitsky, saying, "This still reads to me like someone not involved in the investigation at all, maybe somebody who heard rumors." These new documents show that the FBI leadership was politicized and compromised in its handling of the Clinton email investigation, said Tom Fitton, Judicial Watch president. It will pass time for a do-over on the Clinton emails that requires a new, honest criminal investigation of her misconduct.